go, folks. Phil Collins, the air tonight. Baker Mayfield's favorite warm-up jam. Welcome to the Doghouse, your inside look at the Cleveland Browns. I'm Andy McNamara, and this is a little preview to the show that I recorded with Matt Florjancic from WKYCSports.com live from Cleveland. So we're going to play that for you. Now, that was before the Orange and Brown scrimmage on Saturday. So I wanted to give you a quick little update of what I saw live there. Browns backers put us up all weekend long. It was sensational. Absolutely wonderful. We sat section 109 in the stadium. It was great. You can probably tell my voice is still a little raspy. Got back home late last night. But the Orange and Brown scrimmage, tremendous show. Saw some really good things. I wanted to point out this. Jalen Strong, this dude's going to make the football team as some sort of weapon. His impressive performance through camp continued, and he was making twisting, like Baker Mayfield threw one, he rolled out of the pocket, threw off his back foot, tossed it up, sideline catch. He contorted his body, Strong did, caught it, kept his feet inbounds, and then turned and made a play, and he made several acrobatic catches, but also the reliable, simple catches that you want to see as well. So Jalen Strong really impressed me. We saw some great line of scrimmage battles on the defensive and offensive line side, both sides going back and forth, winning the positioning. So you want that high-end competition going head-to-head, and we saw that. Baker was awesome. The other backup quarterbacks, not great, but you know what? We got Baker. So doesn't really matter, hopefully. Kicking competition, Greg Joseph went 7 for 7. The rookie, Seifert, went 3 of 5 and then made the extra point in the game-winning field goal. So the good day for the kicking day, fun day overall. This is the Doghouse I recorded with Matt just before the scrimmage, live from Cleveland, Ohio. Again, big thanks to ALoft Cleveland putting us up, Cleveland Downtown, the hotel there. And, of course, we're brought to you by ClevelandWhiskey.com. Here's the show with me and Matt. Welcome to the Doghouse, your inside look at the Cleveland Browns, brought to you by ClevelandWhiskey.com. I'm Andy McNamara, literally alongside Matt Florjancic, WKYC Sports Browns reporter. My voice is a little raspy, folks. Why? Because I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. We had a weekend, Browns training camp. We're going to the Orange and Brown scrimmage. So I've been out and about, feeling pretty good, Matt. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, Andy. Always great to have you down here in Northeast Ohio. We love having Andy. We love feeling the positive Browns vibes, especially this year.
Oh, absolutely. And it's been a great weekend. You said the vibes. And the vibes around this team, this city, phenomenal. At a stage, because usually there's the feel good, you talk yourself into it's going to be a good year if 8 things go right. And then, but deep down you kind of know.
Right.
This year, there's not just hype. There's substance being at the practice. You're at the practice every day, but we were at the Browns training camp, and I'm seeing Odell Beckham Jr. make one-handed punt return, catch swings. Everything was looking good. The kickers did not kick, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, when you're in town, I think the less kicking involved in either a game or a practice is probably a very good thing.
That was good. Well, it was the Browns backers. Kudos
to kickers, man.
Demean, freaky, just kick and make the kick when it counts. I don't need a Mr. August here making camp. I need clutch kicks. That's what I need. So, we were there, and the Browns backers, Megan Rock, Corey Kinder, Carlos, they took such great care of everybody. They had with the appreciation dinner event. Phil Taylor was the surprise alumni. We got Phil in the house, which I loved it, but then it kind of reminded me we could have had Julio Jones. That's a tough one, but you know what? Phil Taylor did a great job when he was here.
Yeah, when he was here, he did really kind of help anchor that interior defensive line spot. Phil had some injury problems, and that's ultimately what led to his shortened career, but he was always gracious about his time in Cleveland.
He was happy to be back.
He was when he retired from the league, he made sure that he pointed out how much he loved actually his time here. And you don't get that from all the guys. So to hear Phil say some positive things about the city and about the franchise, it's no surprise that he would want to be back and be a part of what could be the most memorable Brown season in a long time.
Certainly in the expansion era, or the new era there. And, guys, speaking of it, listen, and I would have had a whole bunch more Cleveland whiskey if this fact came through. Phil Dawson. So I got a bug in my ear word from someone saying,
hey, Andy, Phil Dawson's in town. So you know where my head goes. I'm thinking, Phil Dawson's back. Yes, he's going to come in one more year. The last hurrah. Phil's going to save the day. But then, Matt, you posted on WKYC, and you sent me the link. You said, sorry, dude.
Yeah, I think I also told you don't shoot the messenger.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Because when it was announced that Phil was hanging up the cleats, it was a little emotional, I think, for everybody that's been a fan of the expansion Browns, because Phil was the Browns for a long stretch in his career. He was the constant.
Yeah, which is not a recipe for winning a lot of games, but he was the reliable guy. And you're right, it was, you could always count on
games,
Phil.
though.
Yeah,
I mean,
you could always count on
in the fourth quarter,
yeah,
and last 2 minutes of fourth quarter and overtime periods, he had like 15 game-winning kicks here.
Incredible.
Just
the snow game against Buffalo, I remember.
Yeah, he had a 48-yarder in the snow, and there was like 6 inches of snow on the field, and wind was blowing crazy. He said he actually aimed to hit the tunnel with his kick. And for anybody that's been at First Energy Stadium, the tunnel is about 20 yards away from the upright. So that's how far right he had to aim to hit that 48-yarder. And he ended up squeaking it through the posts.
Is that what our rookie kicker's trying to do, but, without the weather?
No, I don't know what the hell they're trying to do, truthfully.
But great for Phil, yeah.
But Phil deserves everything that he gets from this fan base. Just a true pro. No matter what, he was just that guy that you knew wasn't going to lose a game because he was not prepared.
Yeah.
He was going to win you games because he was prepared. And I think that can't be understated, how much he legitimately did mean to the franchise. And I was thinking about this when I was writing a story last night about it. Phil went out not how most kickers go. Most kickers, they shank an extra point or a field goal, it costs the team a game, they're done, that's the end of their career.
Disappear.
Never to be heard from again. Phil got to ride off into the sunset, and I'd expect nothing less out of a dude from the great state of Texas.
And to come out and do it in Cleveland, sign the one-day contract, and be, off you go. That's really cool. Really cool for Phil Dawson. But the camp, so this whole weekend, Matt, we stayed at ALoft Cleveland Downtown on the Flats. Phenomenal. Like, we had the WXYZ bar there. We created, with Jesse the bartender, okay? Not your wife, Jesse the bartender down there. We created a custom Browns backers drink. So if you guys are listening and in Cleveland, you go to ALoft Cleveland, go to the WXYZ bar, and ask for the orange and brown crown. It involves fire, so you know it's good, okay? It is tremendous, and it's a custom one, a custom Browns backers one. It's in the Flats. Like we went exploring the Flats, Matt. Been to Cleveland 13 straight years here, and hadn't really been down to the Flats. My God, you don't have to go anywhere else.
Right.
It's so cool.
It's an area of town that's really seen a resurgence.
Yeah.
It was popular in the 80s when the Browns were good. In the 90s, it started to fall off, especially after the Browns relocated. But it's starting to come alive again, and people are investing in that neighborhood.
Yeah. And
that's good to see. It's a sign that the city's moving in the right direction. And, I mean, hell, you're talking about it and how great it was, so it has to be good.
It has to be good. There's a whole bunch of different spots. Closest hotel to the stadium, like you can see it from down the hill. Like it is a great spot. So we had that. We went to the training camp practice, and when we were there, it was so cool to get to see the drills. Like you get to see it all the time, but to be able to see the drills and just kind of look in person how smooth the players are. Baker looked great. He was clicking. You saw some hard hits, right, on the tackle side. But overall, from when you were looking, we were fanboying a little bit, going over. But from actually analyzing the last couple of practices, how do you feel this Browns team is looking?
So far, so good. There are days where the offense looks great, and there are days where the defense looks outstanding. And that's kind of what you want at this time of year when you're practicing against each other. There's always a positive, negative to it. You're like, well, I'm excited to see this, but we need to step it up here.
Right.
And that's mainly what the preseason's for, so you can get a better gauge against some other competition. But overall, I think one thing I'm most impressed with, and I believe we talked about this earlier in the week, is the guy I like seeing practice the most is Nick Chubb.
Okay.
I've never seen an incumbent starter work as hard through drills as Nick Chubb.
That's what you want.
And he is just a workhorse back there, a guy that's going to put in a solid day's effort. And when you can get a guy like that to be a key cog of your offense, good things tend to happen. Now he's got a good quarterback with Baker. I thought Baker's looked pretty good in some stretches. Others, he's still trying to work on some timing issues with the receivers. That will come, so I'm not super worried about that. If anything were to happen in number 6, though, a little concerned about the depth at the quarterback position.
That's what I was going to go to.
Not exactly ringing the bells there. Gilbert's looked good throughout camp, but that's as a third stringer. The fourth stringer, not so much.
Is that Bluff? What's it, Bluff?
I think it's Bluff.
Bluff?
And Stanton has not looked good in most of the drills. So I'm a little concerned about depth at the quarterback position. And as Andy, you know very well, backup quarterback is always a topic in this town.
Yeah.
Although maybe not
maybe
now.
Not as much
because
now
of Baker, but still, you got to be a little concerned about your depth there. But wide receivers, I think, are a very underrated position. I think they're going to surprise some people. And everybody said, well, how could you be over or underrated when you've got Odell and Jarvis? I'm talking about the depth. I mean, you're going to cut guys that are going to be on 53-man rosters this year.
Much different than past years.
Like Blake Jackson, he's going to be on a roster. DJ Montgomery's probably going to be on a roster. If Derek Willis doesn't catch on here again, he's going to be on another NFL roster. Like, they are so deep at the wide receiver position. And watching them go through drills, it's like, can you top this? Like, the next guy in line, hey, I'm going to do this. Good luck trying to follow it. Like, it's building competition. And that all starts from the brotherhood between Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. Odell has become known for making ridiculous catches. That's just who he is. That's what he does. And he's very damn good at it. But he is the first to tell you all the time that the guy who's responsible for that is Jarvis Landry.
Who we also got.
Who we also have. Yeah, and I'm excited about the offense for the first time in a long time. I think the defensive line is stacked. If they could stay healthy, that would be amazing. The secondary, expect Greedy Williams in the starting lineup opening day. I know TJ Carey's had a pretty good training camp, but Greedy he's a second-round pick for a reason. A lot of guys in the Browns organization thought he was going to be the number one corner off the board. He wasn't.
That's a great
He
pickup.
fell basically to mid-second round, and I think he could be real special.
He looks smooth, Matt. That's what I used to describe Greedy Williams. When you watch him play, smooth. It's natural. You can tell he's working hard, but it just comes natural.
The best guys are the ones who make the hard things look ordinary. The example I always go back to is Josh Gordon. I know that's kind of a swear word now in Cleveland because of how his tenure ended here. But Josh was the most physically gifted athlete I have ever seen on any athletic field. I would put him up against what LeBron could do on a basketball court.
Wow.
Like, Josh Gordon was just special.
Right.
And you knew it.
And that's why it's such a shame.
When he was on the field, you just had that excitement. It's like when Josh Cribbs dropped back for a punt return. You always felt like, hey, something special could happen here. Josh was the same way. He was by far the most naturally gifted wide receiver or NFL player I've ever seen, and he made everything look effortless. He caught a slant and took it 90 yards.
Right. I'll never forget that.
And he pulled away from defensive backs.
Made till he quit.
Like, what he could do was ridiculous. And I see that sort of competitive fire and that ability to make the extraordinary look ordinary with Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham. And then you throw in the mix of what Njoku can do as a red zone target, what Chubb can do just about anything out of the backfield.
Callaway's speed.
If Kareem Hunt is on the roster, what he could do to break a game. I mean, he's a game record.
What I love about that combo, Matt, and let's not forget Rashard Higgins, who has had natural chemistry since day one with Baker.
Yeah, because they worked together
on the backup
on the second team
last year. But when Kareem Hunt comes, and it's still not, folks, a guarantee Kareem Hunt will show. He has to stay clean, out of trouble. So week 9 is the earliest. You hope he can. But let's say he does. The thing I love about that combo is, let's say you have Chubb and Hunt in the backfield at the same time. Both can block, both can run, both can catch. So it's different than, let's say, a Duke Johnson where he's going to catch the ball. And if he runs, he's not going to go very far. Right? So that's why I love it, because you can do so many different things. There's so many different options on this offense. So if you're a defense, who are you double teaming? You can't.
No, you really can't. And that's what John Dorsey aimed for. He wanted to increase competition and make it more difficult for the defense to prep for the Browns. And I think Odell touched on it yesterday after practice is, when we get our chemistry down, we're going to be scary good. And I'm sitting there, it took everything in my power not to shout out amen.
God. Absolutely. To get crazy. And then we saw Myles Garrett for the first time that close.
Myles is a big man.
And, dude, he's a grown man. When you see, 6'5", 250 on paper, it's big.
Yeah.
But then when you see it, it's like, damn, that's big.
Yeah. He's a grown-ass man. Yeah. He is a whole lot of human. And he can run with Nick Chubb.
It's
so
incredible.
There are times in 11-on-11 drills where Chubb breaks free.
Yeah.
And he's off to the races. And there's one guy who's either catching up to or riding stride for stride with, and that's Myles Garrett.
Wow.
And when you can keep up with running backs, and you're 200, people that are 6'5" and 275 pounds should not be able to run a 4.5. But Myles Garrett can.
Now I'm getting excited. Yep, he can do it. Folks, by the way, on Twitter, at AndyMC81, at Matt Florjancic, and make sure ClevelandWhiskey.com, you got to check it out. Part of the trip as well, went on a tour of the facility.
I know you've been wanting to do that for a long time.
I need to refill my stock of Cleveland whiskey. Met Rebecca, Andrew, and Tom Licks, who are the owners, just great guys, and Brandon was there, who was our tour guide last year. But we got to see the facility, chat with them, learn their story, which we're going to be putting out on social media. So make sure you're following twitch.tv/AndyMacLive, 24ksports.com, and all the social media functions. But the Cleveland whiskey difference, Matt, is they take something that would usually to distill 4, 5, 10 years, and the technology, they do it in a day. So they say that allows them to work with a lot of different woods and flavors, where you can get the black cherry, which I'm holding right here, the underground bourbon whiskey finished with black cherry, with their award-winning one. They got awards all over. Picked up one of my favorites, the hickory wood. You know that.
Yeah.
And if you go to the distillery on East 25th, they have in-distillery specials and blends only that you can get there.
Right.
So I got, and I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to try it later. It was a beer barreled. So they have they have the flavor where they take it from a whiskey and had beer in it, and then they mix it up, so it's a totally unique taste. But you check it, ClevelandWhiskey.com, on Twitter at CleveWhiskey, Instagram, Cleveland Whiskey, all over the place. Cleveland Whiskey, folks. You got to check them out. If you do, let us know where it is. And if you're in Cleveland, go to the distillery. Great people. So there you go, ClevelandWhiskey.com.
They do a lot of open houses.
Yeah, you were at
about one a quarter, I think.
Right, for the riot. You were there for the riot.
Yeah, I was there last November for my brother-in-law and I went, and we had a blast. We sampled some whiskey. He laughed at me because there were a couple that were a little strong for me. But we had a good time. They had these cookies that were made with cream that had bourbon in it. Phenomenal would be an understatement. Just what they do there is impressive, and they've got quite the loyal following. I mean, all the way up in Cordis, Ontario.
That's right, and you know what? It's the family feel, right? Family on the Doghouse. You guys listening and watching, and family with Browns. Family at ClevelandWhiskey.com. There, Matt. I got to tell you this story too. So from camp, at the end they had players come over for autographs. It was very cool. Baker Mayfield ran by. Right, so he didn't sign, but I touched him. I touched his arm. I felt the electricity.
The throwing arm.
He was giving fives, and so I didn't want to.
Don't hit it too hard.
No, I was like there, and I just felt the Baker energy come through me. But the last person in the autograph, came through. Guess who it was? Can you guess?
I'm guessing it's a kicker.
It was a kicker, and it was Greg Joseph. Now, as you know, folks, listen, I just want what's best for the Browns. If Greg Joseph comes in, makes every kick, Greg Joseph, I'll be your biggest fan. But
if you miss a kick,
it's on. And so here's the thing. Comes through, and listen, very nice man. Like, very genuine. He seems like a good dude. However, I don't care if you're a good dude. I want to make the damn kicks. So he's coming the autograph line, and I got the the football I've had signed. And I'm like, I don't know if I want Greg Joseph on this one. I put it away. So he's there signing, and someone said, "Oh, thanks," and he said, he was right beside me, and he said, "I'm making the fans happy is more important than making field goals." And I looked at him, I said, "Not to me." And he laughed. I said, "Make the kicks." He's laughing. I'm thinking, why are you laughing?
I'm not kidding.
Why are you laughing, bro? Come on. So but it was cool. And the Browns backers, again, we had the appreciation dinner at the draft room in the stadium, the Orange and Brown scrimmage games coming up and all that. So it was such a fun time, but to get to see them this close. So Matt, going into the first preseason game, let's finish on this point. Going into the first preseason game, what do you want to see out of the Browns on? Well, you know what? I was going to say both sides of the ball. Let's say all three, because the kick return game, the punt return game is going to be interesting. We saw some different combinations. We saw Sheehy, Giuseppe taking some. We saw Callaway. So what do you want to see beginning with special teams on the preseason game 1 on Thursday?
Outside of made kicks, because that's important.
Huge.
I want to see catches on punts.
Right.
And they don't have to be fair catches, but just catch the ball on punts. And I don't want to see Jarvis Landry or Odell Beckham Jr. back there at all.
I'm with you.
The only way I would accept those two guys being out there at the time on a punt return would be end of game situation, and you need somebody reliable that can just catch the ball. All you got to do is stick your right hand in the air, wave the fair catch, and just secure the ball.
Get it and be done. Yeah.
I don't want to see them trying to return because, as positive the vibes are, it's still Cleveland, and we still worry about those things because we have to.
You can get hurt.
You can get hurt. So I really would like to see other guys be able to emerge, like a Callaway, who's going to be the fourth option offensively, to really carve a role for himself on special teams. Defensively, I want to see good coverage out of the secondary, and I want to see that second group of linebackers, the young kids,
how they look.
Sione Takitaki and Mac Wilson. I made the bold prediction that Mac Wilson could be starting by week 1.
Wow.
I don't know that he will, based off of what I've seen through the first 8 days of camp, but he will play a significant role on this team in 2019.
He was one of my favorite linebackers after that first wave in this draft. I think they got a
You get a Bama linebacker, you're doing something right.
And
Bama just produces backers like crazy, and they're all very, very good. Taki's a hellraiser. He goes out there and he hits the hell out of people.
He just goes.
And he knows one speed, and it's full speed.
Beautiful.
And that's what you need out of a linebacker. You need a playmaker.
Pull back. You can always pull back aggressive.
Right, you can't teach it.
Yeah.
And Freddie even talked about that. Coach Kitchens mentioned that exact phrase. He's like, I'd rather have to pull back on him than have to teach him how to be aggressive.
Right.
Because the two starters, quite frankly, both solid individuals, both good guys off the field. Joe Schobert and Christian Kirksey, as linebackers, to me, they're just guys.
And maybe that's the transition where you have veterans who know how to play while the youngsters come in, and then you work in a rotation and get the more athletic players in.
Well, they've been running a lot of 4-2-5 in practice. They've only gone 2 linebackers, which would be Kirksey and Schobert, and they've been running with a nickel defensive back, and they've been kind of hybriding it.
Right.
Usually a nickel is a corner, but they've been putting in Jermaine Whitehead as a safety.
Oh.
And they said it's because he's good enough to cover.
He's impressed people too, yeah.
But he can play in the box too. So he acts as like a monster back. He could be a DB or a third linebacker.
Nice. Okay. And then finally, to wrap it up, Matt, on offense, I want to see what the chemistry looks like with that first team. We're not going to see a lot of it.
You're probably not going to see it for very long, probably a series or 2 maybe.
In that first preseason game? Right, but I want to just see, what does it look like right now? We know it's not finished, but what does it look like? What do we need to work on? So offensively, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I want to see Beckham and Baker get that chemistry going and get on the same page, make sure everything's going in the right direction. I don't think it will take long for those two guys, but you always want to make sure that you're seeing positive vibes from this team.
Absolutely. All right, Matt, that'll do it. The addition from Cleveland of the Doghouse. And guess what? I'll be back week 3 of the regular season.
A little bit over a month from now.
A little bit over a month. We'll make sure we do a doghouse after the first preseason game. Keep you guys up to date. Follow our tremendous sponsor, ClevelandWhiskey.com. Check it out, not just in Ohio. Check where they are near you. Follow on Twitter. Matt's great work, at Matt Florjancic, at Matt Flo Sports on Instagram. Myself, at AndyMC81 on Twitter, and AndyMC Sports on Instagram. All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, Andy.
There he goes. You've been listening to The Doghouse, your inside look at the Cleveland Browns.